Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Davi Cabral, undefeated middleweight prospect. Hello, Davi. How are you?
Cool, I'm doing great. How about you guys? How you guys doing?
I'm good, and thank you for taking the invitation, especially after such a good year, because you actually won everything you could this year. You are right now 3-0. So if you can tell me how happy are you in the just a few days with like year ending?
I'm very happy, like I could not ask you for more. I think that building up my career slowly, like we're doing, I think is the ideal scenario. Every time we walk into the cage, we get like the fighting experience. But I'm pretty new in the sport. I'm I can tell like that I am a high level grappler, but like in terms of mixing up everything, I'm pretty new. I'm just training MMA for over 1.5 years. I have previously experience helping out other MMA guys on their training camps, but like just a couple of sessions. That was never my focus. So I'm very happy with what is happening lately, and I can't wait to 2025. Now I feel that I am on I am start understanding where the game can take me. You know, I'm training with some high level guys on the training room. I'm getting a lot of experience in front of them. I'm getting different views. I am able to test myself against some very high level guys. So I'm pretty sure that 2025 is gonna be even better. Of course, slowly. I'm not in a hurry. I know that there's a lot of things to work on, but definitely very happy.
And what I like about your like previous fights is, of course, that you are a very good grappler, but you also can knock people out. You have also a very good low kicks. So I think that this is great to see because in the end you are quite new in the MMA. So like people can expect that your like main goal would be to go to the ground to take your opponent down, and still you can hurt people in the stand-up department.
Yeah, I've been working a lot. So like my coaches here, like I train in progressive jiu-jitsu. There's there I teach, but my MMA gym is like mainly strikers, right? There's a lot of K1 fighters, a lot of former glory kickboxers train over there under Coach Steven Wright, and there's a bunch of killers. Most of them they are all 100% strikers, and since day one, those guys embraced me on the team, and they made me believe on myself, on my skills. I'm not unlimited on standing up as I'm on the ground, but I am already feel I can see that I already have some very good tools on standing that I can stand against anyone. So this is giving me a lot of confidence, right? My teammates are boosting up my confidence. My coaches are boosting up my confidence, and I can't tell you that my next fight I'm just gonna strike or my next fight I'm just gonna wrestle, but I'm really expect to the next fight bring a different way of finish. My main goal is making to the UFC, having experienced all types of finish. If it happen going to the decision, a win is a win, right? But I want to be able to finish in different ways. So I already have uh, uh, fights that my low kick was the main thing. I had fights that my body kicks were everything. I had fights that my left hooks were and my right overhands were everything. I think my next fight I'm gonna be looking for something else on the striking part. Maybe a spinning kick, maybe a head kicks. Who knows? But I'm definitely working hard to bring something new.
And do you have a like opponent in mind, or maybe even opponent like in your head, or maybe pick give you some name of the fighter that you would like to fight, or you will fight next?
So names, we don't have it. So this is a problem that we've been facing since day one. We wanted to start like with an amateur career. My first MMA fight, that was an amateur fight against an undefeated prospect. I'm pretty sure you already heard about him. Now he's 2-0 pro. Idris Hamed. the Palestinian guy who lives here in the U.S. He was the only guy who took the fight as amateur. He was like I think 4-0 if I'm not wrong, 4-0, and he was a peak champion middleweight. Like we took the fight for sure. We're not picking any name. We're just getting anyone that shows up. But as soon as we turned pro, like it started getting super hard to get fights. Like people don't want to fights. Of course, sometimes like we're gonna have to get some. For example, my first fight, I got a guy that was like a negative record because like nobody was taking the fight. Who is this Brazilian guy? He's 0-0. They're like there's no benefits in beating me up because I would be a nobody in MMA. But also there's a high risk of losing to me. So the guys didn't want to take the fight unless the promotion are paying them very good money. That is not the case. So my first two fights were against like guys there. They were trying to overcome their careers. Then they were good. They were dangerous, but I was far more skilled than them. And my last fight were already against like a better guy, a very durable. You know, the guy was like 5-3 amateur, was the peak amateur champ. He was doing his pro debut, 5-3. Never been finished before. Have fought some black belt levels, some black belt fighters. And next, I'm waiting for someone like higher level. Every time, like step up a little bit, but it's hard. It's hard to predict. It's hard to tell. We are saying yes for a bunch of guys. We are saying yes for a bunch of people, and getting close to the fight, they say, "Ah, no, you know." We heard a lot about no, his grappling is dangerous. I don't want to take the risk. People are very honest. Like honestly, they are very honest. And I think it's not a good fight for me. So I'm expecting to have like 3 formal fights and make it to a big league, maybe contender, maybe like getting a shot at the Ultimate Fighter, or I don't know. But anyone, anytime, I'm ready.
You mentioned your first amateur fight against Hamet, and I think that it is a great win because you are the only person who beat him, either like and in the amateur or pro. So I think that it was a great win, and I think that because we are finishing everybody, the peak title fight would be great because you like built your name in the promotion, and I think that at this point you definitely deserve this.
That was a great fight. There was a great fight against Idris, and Idris is an amazing fighter. I think he probably gonna be in the UFC very soon. If he keep doing the same work he's doing with his coach up in College Station. But man, about me, I honestly like I'm always the type of guy that aim the top, right? I love peak. I love the guys. They are giving me a great platform to display my work, to showcase my skills. But in the end of the day, like becoming the peak champ is not my life goal. You know, I want to be in the UFC. I want to be fighting against. Like I want to be among the best guys in the world. And but if the opportunity that I have to fight is for the title, I'm gonna take it. You know, we're already talking about it. My coach talked with them. There's some names lined up since Evan Cutts just retired. Evan is a guy that I have a huge respect for him. We never like had the opportunity of train together or anything like that. But every time that I see him, very very respectful guy, OG of the game. Since he's out, um, there's like 2 or 3 guys that I can tell they're probably gonna throw at me very soon. I'm studying all of them, of course, but I'm an employee right now. You know, I don't want to be picky. I don't want to be I don't want to be the type of guy that are gonna be declining fights. I'm in this game to fight against the best, and little by little, step by step, without hurrying. I'm 100% sure that doing the right stuff, we're gonna be making the UFC walk in an 18-month frame.
And I think that for your your like future opponents, it's better to fight you right now than in like 1 year, because you are like improved so quickly. So it's a bigger chance right now to beat you than in like 1 year or 2 years. So for everybody, it should be like a big chance. Of course, you are right now a great fighter, but in the end, in the 1 year, you would be much better.
Yeah, like I think for the 185 division, I'm one of the shortest guys. But honestly, I am a 170 fighter. I walk around pretty heavy, right? I walk around because like that's a my jiu-jitsu side. I always compete jiu-jitsu at 222 and very short for the division, very like short, stock, fatty guy, like and being the small guy in the division. So I get used to fight against the tall guys. But I want to fight at 170 next, and I think at 170, my problem, my explosiveness can be a problem for most of guys. So being me in a 1 year frame gonna be, I think, way harder than right now because I'm a beginner in the MMA game. So I still have a lot of room to improve and to put some gains. But I have a very good jiu-jitsu. I have a very good wrestling. And I think my striking is getting much better. But I'm still understanding how works putting everything together, I don't have that, like, I still have some clicks. Boom. Okay, now you shoot. I still have the clicks. Boom. Now you don't have to control, you have to strike. Boom. Now you don't have to strike, you gotta control. It's like I'm still adapting myself. So what you said is 100% true. Now 1 year frame gonna be way harder to fight me. I remember my first MMA fight, like against Idris, that I couldn't take him down. But I'm gonna try to explain how my mind worked at that time. So when I was standing, my I couldn't put together pieces of one shoot, shoot, 1, 2, 3, low kick, shoot, or he threw a punch and shoot. No, like my mind was, I'm just fighting, striking, and then if my coach say you're gonna take him down, I forget everything about striking and I shoot. And then it turns a grappling match. I didn't receive that as like is everything combined. So my last my last fights, I start getting better at it, and thinking like this is gonna in the next couple ones, I'm gonna be able to showcase and like sorry about the word, but that's like I'm not talking about any bullshit. You guys gonna see how many improvements I'm gonna be able to put in the next couple fights. I think winning is a great part of it. I want to be able to get better. I want to get better. I want to get better. More than anything.
This improvement is like seen in your fight, but of course you like started with the grappling with the BJJ. And if you can tell me how did your journey with BJJ started?
And like I'm Brazilian, right? I'm Brazilian, and jiu-jitsu is everywhere in Brazil. I remember like being younger, and when I was a little kid, and my dad and my mom they work outside, so they hired like a babysitter for me, and she was a judo black belt. Like I was like probably like 3 or 4, and I don't remember that. Like that's what my parents always tell me and tell everybody around that she was a judo black belt, and she used to play a lot with me, like takedowns, like this little aggressive kids plays games. And after a while, she told my mom, and Brazil is big on soccer too, so I like playing soccer. My soccer team. That's my second favorite sport. Maybe the favorite sport. I think that's the one that I watch the most, more than MMA. And my mom talking with her, and then she said, "If you think your son can be good at any sport, I think it would be at fighting. Like he has the fearless. Like he's fearless. He has like he's not the type of kid that shies. He likes to do it. I think if you want him to succeed at something, I would put him to do a martial art first. I started judo. I started doing judo like when I was like 5, 6 at school. Compete some in-house tournaments. Like have very good success. Like very little kid. And then when I was like 10-year-old, they start like a project for the kids. They already have jiu-jitsu for adults, but they start a project for kids at my apartment complex where I used to live. And then I give it a try. Like I think it was like probably the second member on the team. Like they put a list who wants to do it, put my name over there, start doing it. Very quick, got my yellow belt, and very quick the Nogueira brothers, you know Nogueira brothers, they open up the Chi Nogueira close to my house. Like maybe 1 year after, so they opened the academy like 20 minutes from my house. Porra, and Anderson Silva, who used to train under them. But they were like two legends, you know, a bunch of great fighters. So as soon as they opened, I told my mom, I want to go out there to train. So I started training at Tino Guerra back in 2011. And then, man, like that was training with like beasts around me, you know, like great guys that woke up a version of myself that I didn't know that I had it. Like I want to be a fighter. I want to be a fighter. And that days I was training already some Muay Thai and mostly Jiu-Jitsu. I used to like, like 2 times a week with Professor Alex Gazea. He was my professor for a while, but only train Muay Thai 2 times a week, but very commercial training for me. And Jiu-Jitsu was something that I was doing already, competing every weekend, doing my best. So at some point of when I was like turning 15, even my parents, like they advised me, man, like let's focus just in Jiu-Jitsu. You're doing great. Like we can do you can do a career on this. So I left everything behind, all Muay Thai, everything that I had to pursue the BJJ. 2021 during the pandemic, I was already a black belt, came to US, you know, and here we are, you know, like all my jiu-jitsu titles, everything. I'm very grateful for what jiu-jitsu gave me, you know. I live right now, like, you know, small leagues don't pay you enough to live just from fighting. So I teach jiu-jitsu full time. My wife is also a black belt under me. My sister is a black belt under me. Uh, I think the jiu-jitsu message, the jiu-jitsu lifestyle is what changed my life. That's what I want to represent in the highest level of MMA. And that's it. My titles are in the past, you know. They don't define me. Of course, they help me to build my character, but jiu-jitsu lifestyle, the jiu-jitsu itself, what the jiu-jitsu message represents for me is the biggest lesson that I'm bringing for the MMA career.
And actually, I saw that many titles that you won in the BJJ, especially I think that in gi you were more of the like gi fighter, right?
I train mostly in the gi. That's true. I have biggest like I think my biggest accomplishments are no gi actually. I won the European title in Portugal in the gi, but the Pan American title I won here in the West like no gi. I won Brazilian nationals in the gi in no gi. So I have like if we can at least say like I have a couple of titles like around opens around the US and around Brazil, mostly in the gi for sure. Look, I think over 50 gold medals in the gi in the IBJF. No gi around like this, probably a little bit less because I competed less in the gi in no gi. But the main titles are I won the Pan American title, I won South American twice. I won Brazilian nationals twice. I won the European also, and 4 times world's medalist. I think there's the only title there left for me in jiu-jitsu. It's like the gold at worlds. I did 2 silver medals at worlds and 2 bronze medals at worlds. Very close. Still have some nightmares about those finals. You know, cleaning up the bracket and losing the final sucks. But being the second best in the world is not a bad deal, right? But what about your question? I think gi no gi. No, I train mostly in the gi. I won't lie. That's what I like the most to do. If I had to do, or you can pick only one sport to do for the rest of your life, I would maybe ask, okay, I want to have a gi and a few training partners. That's all I want to do. But no gi and gi, in terms of titles, they are very close. If no gi is not higher.
And when you get to US, how did you get to your current gym? Do you have like did you go to few gyms and like find the perfect one, or was it like the first one that you get and you just felt that this is the place for you?
The one I teach right now,
When you get to the USA, I mean the like MMA gym.
my story with the moving to US is a pretty cool story. I was during the pandemics, right? So we still had to do the quarantine in Mexico. So I did the quarantine in Mexico. We came to Houston. We came to Miami. I trained in Miami for 2 months, but I knew that I would not stay in Miami. I was just like moving, just passing, and I was sleeping in a friend's couch, training only jiu-jitsu. And my wife, and she was my girlfriend back in the days. We were only 21. After that, we moved to Houston for a jiu-jitsu gym, but they are also an MMA gym. But I went there just to train jiu-jitsu, just training. I wasn't teaching or anything, just training jiu-jitsu. Paradigm Combat. They have like a very cool facility in Houston, and we were leaving the gym. Like then we started living in the gym, a small room in the gym. Me and my wife, we have just like a grill and then like a small oven to cook like our protein. Just training jiu-jitsu full time. Trying to save as much money as possible because we were working as bouncers, moving. We worked like with random different stuff. And then I received opportunity to teach here at Progresso in Dallas when we came. And then my wife was a brown belt. Soon later, I promoted her to black belt. And then the MMA shows up in my life. So that's a cool story. When we moved to Dallas, I was still living in the gym, paying the immigration lawyers. So the first thing that happened was like I bought my car, paid the immigration lawyers, and then I moved to an apartment. So my wife, she was helping one UFC girl that used to train under us. She was doing privates to her. Her name is Sam Hughes. She's a UFC, I think bantamweight, strawweight, bantamweight. Yeah, she fights at 150. Yeah, strawweight. It's a 115, right?
Yes.
115. Sam is 115. And she helped Sam to do the camp, and Sam invited her to corner her in the UFC. So my wife, recently black belt, or she was a brown belt still, was her main training partner, and went to the UFC with her on the Adesanya against Pereira card. Like in the pay-per-view, I think UFC Miami pay-per-view Adesanya against Pereira. Man, like I'm even before fighting the MMA, I was a huge fan of MMA, And then like after she come back, she told me, Davi, like you have no idea how big like UFC, the backstage is. You don't have no idea like how they treat the fighters. And then she told me, I think I'm gonna jump in on that. So she started training with Sam in our place with our private coach. There's Armin, the Uzbek guy. Very very nice guy. He's like Armenian Uzbekistan guy. Very cool guy. Just boxing, but I I knew that it wasn't enough. That was like just part of it. We need more material. We need more people. So every Friday, doing my training camp for my last run at Pans, where I got third place in Jiu-Jitsu. So I got third place at Pans. And every Friday, I was training pads with Armin, pads and combinations with him. When the Pans was over, I started doing my last campaign for Worlds. 2 weeks before final Worlds, we show up at one tournament, local tournament, to coach a guy, and they said, "Hey, there is a Muay Thai fighter that just dropped. Anyone wants to do it?" And then I want to do it. Well, but you're gonna fight Worlds in 2 weeks? No, I want to do it. I wasn't training in MMA gym yet. It was just me and Armin. And then I ended up KOing the guy second round. Man, I think I'm gonna give it a try. So I went to Worlds already knowing that would be like that. Okay, that's my last one. I'm switching for sure. My wife told me that UFC is very cool. Everybody's saying that I have potential, so I'm gonna do it. There was he's a very famous manager. His name is Oren Hadak. Oren, he's like a manager from Merab's manager, Kevin Holland, Juliana Pena, the Aljamain Sterling. Like he's a big deal of manager. And I had the chance of speaking with Oren, but like about life, without like any intention, just Oren. Like I know you're like such a great manager in the game for a while. Like, what do you recommend me to do? Like, I am in this position. I am a jiu-jitsu high level fighter. I'm looking for a place, but I don't know anywhere. So he sent me. He told me that, oh, Davi, there's a guy. He has a small gym with huge knowledge. He has a bunch of people over there. Has some UFC fighters, and in terms of breakdown study, I've never seen someone like him. His name is Steven Wright. We have like a friend in common, Noah. He's a training partner of me, and Noah was training there already. So Noah took me there. He presented me to Steven. He took me there. So since day one, nobody over there, they want to test me out. When they knew that I was a jiu-jitsu guy, they knew that jiu-jitsu were their weakness and striking were my weaknesses. So instead of beating me up, striking and testing me out, or maybe do a Shark Tank, they embraced me as a family. From the day one, they said, Davi, like, we don't want to like put you in the Shark Tank and decapitate you like most people are gonna do. No, we want to bring you to the team. And Steven told me right away, just show up. I have to drive 1 hour 15 to go and 1 hour 15 to come back every training. And he know that, so David don't need to pay the gym, any gym fee. Just show up, bring your best. Then we're gonna give our best to you. And since the day one, man, like I won't lie, I got offered by to train in other places, but I'm a loyal guy. I'm a true believer that I'm gonna make my walk, but with the same guys that believed in me on the day one. So very soon, you're gonna see the young lion walking out to the UFC with a black guy and a Armenian guy by my side and my wife, because the guys that support me on the day one, they're gonna drink the cold water with me. They're gonna, the guys that suffer and embrace the pain, they're gonna be able to enjoy the paradise with me. I'm a really, I'm a guy that I'm very grateful for what they did and what they're doing for me.
So you were with your grappling like a perfect addition to the gym.
Yes, perfect. For them were great. For them was very good, you know, and for me it was even better, like even better. I'm I learned a lot by teaching them, and they for sure learned a lot by teaching me.
And right now, do you have fighters in your gym, maybe in the similar position like you, maybe on the early pro level or amateur level, the fighters that you know that they have like skills to be in the UFC?
For sure, like this guy that I told you before, like Noah Villamarete. He's a vanilla gorilla. He's 3-0 amateur, 3-0 pro. And Noah is over a year already trying to get fights, and no. So he's 3 amateur fights, all finishes, 3 pro fights, all finishes. He's like 27 years old, something around it, 155er, very talented, very good, great skills. He's mostly a wrestler, but he has very good striking. You know, he has very good striking. Uh, the next like when he fought before, he did it the easy way. He just took the guys down and beat them up, but he never had the opportunity of showcasing how good he is on standing up. So and there's a way like a lot of other guys like, but if I had to like Donovan, Donovan, he fought for the contender series. He fought against Bo Nickal. I think he's at 8-3 right now. He's like coming back after losing in the contender, but he's probably gonna be back at the contender very soon. But the most skilled guy that we have in the gym is very skilled. His name is Christian Gavilanes. He's an Ecuadorian, El Tigre. Man, that kid is that kid is a nightmare. That kid is, you know, I help him on the ground a lot. He helped me on the striking a lot, but I train with a lot of guys. I'm not saying that he he's just a striking guy. He's an MMA complete fighter, but on the standing up part, I I I watch him train with him. I know that his steps above a lot of people, and he's only 21 years old. I think at pro now he's 1-0. He did a first fight for Peak. After like 8 and 9 people saying no for him, he's fighting for Fury next. He's fighting a guy from Fortis in February 8th, February 9th, something like that. Pretty sure, man. Like, I don't know who he's fighting against. Like, I know that don't know the name, but only thing I can tell you is like he's on the UFC level. He is. I have the UFC partners, have people in the UFC. He's on the UFC level right now. So very soon you're gonna be interviewing him.
So maybe in a few years you will like in the same time you will sign the contract to the UFC.
Yeah, I think yeah, probably. I think by the end of 2025 we're gonna be knocking the door. You know, they may not open right away. There's always like they are a great company. I totally understand that. They have seen great prospects. They have seen what I'm bringing to the table so many times. Some people become like outstanding fighters, and the other guys just decline. I want to knock their door and be able to. Uh, I don't care about expectations, but I want to be able to uh, bring to the table and keep it on the table. Like I want to keep a entertaining fighter, a guy that fights with the main goal of finish it. I want to bring them a very good Brazilian, a very good fighter, someone that knows how to speak in like three languages, someone that's gonna be able to to put on a show and promote myself. So 2025, me and my partner is definitely gonna be knocking their door.
So because you right now you have like four fights experience. In your opinion, what is like the most challenging aspect of like MMA game, like overall?
The wake up. The wake up is for sure the number one, the like challenging, doing the all the hard work with like calories restriction is not a fun ride. But I can like being thinking about like the fight game itself. I think that combine everything with mastery, trying to put everything together, like be good in everything and combine. That's the hardest part. Being good at jiu-jitsu, you can be good at striking, you can be good at wrestling, and suck MMA. But I know a lot of guys they are average in everything and they become great MMA fighters. So I think that's the hardest aspect.
And for me, the fighter who was great in like combining everything was of course GSP because he was very good at everything. But as the MMA fighter, he was great. He was who knows, maybe the number one ever.
Yeah, JSP is a great inspiration for sure. Uh, there's a lot of guys they're very good in most things, but GSP I think GSP is the number one guy that Dimitri Johnson like is also another great name to put on the list as a great on standing, great on the ground. And I think I would put Dimitri Johnson and GSP as the most complete the most complete fighters of all time. Not my favorite, definitely not my favorites, but definitely on the top of the food chain.
And who is your favorite fighter ever?
Ever? There's a lot of guys to think about. It's hard to pick. Hard to pick. I would put like a list of five guys and maybe so thinking about when I started, like a huge inspiration is like for sure Anderson Silva and Jose Aldo. They were like my favorite guys for sure back in the days. I would put Mauricio Shogun Rua. Um, I'm gonna put Charles Oliveira and Alex Pereira. That would be like my top five guys. I think all UFC champions, all um, Shogun was a Pride and UFC champion, and Alex two-time Glory kickboxing and UFC champion two times too. So I think that would be like a good favorite, all-time favorite guys.
And like about Josaldo, it's kind of crazy because he became a WEC champion in 2008 or 2009, and it's like 15 years later he's ranked bantamweight. And to be honest, he there is some chance that he still can fight for the title.
He's still in like that man's a dog, and it's impressive because he's the type of guy he get hit. Like he's not like a counter striking fighter like that avoid eating shots. No, he's a dog guy. He's there. He's chasing you. He's kicking you. He's trying to hurt you, and he's still in the game and looks great. Outstanding takedown defense. Very high level jiu-jitsu guy. Even though we don't see a lot, he's like a jiu-jitsu world champion in the brown belt. If I'm not wrong, the brown belt, and he's striking. I think he's one of the only guys that can still throw low kicks without getting countered in the modern MMA.
And about Jose, actually, like in 2015, I was a little bit worried that he may be like defined by the knockout loss to Conor. But of course, we know how many great things he did. But because the fight was quite short, I was afraid that like fans, especially the new ones, can only think about him as the fighter who lost to Conor. And it's good that I think that right now everybody loves him, and it should be like this because he's like of course great MMA fighter, but he's also like super respectful too.
No, yeah, he's an OG of the game. Nobody wants to lose, you know. Nobody wants to lose. But that was like, I think people have very short memory. Like most of the MMA people, they call casuals, right? Like they're coming right now. They don't remember who Jose Aldo is, but he's definitely undoubtedly on the top five goats. He has to be in anyone's list. You know, he's been fine through generations, and he's still a dangerous man. Like watch his fights against the current champion. His fight against Merab. Watch his fight against Petr Yan. Watch his fight against like the guys there, and he dropped one division. He was a featherweight. Now he's a bantamweight. You know, so man, saying that the man is not in the goal list, it's insanity. Never peak fight. It was never a peak fight. Like John Jones is great. Is a great fighter, but like he always peaking who he's gonna fight. Jose Aldo, anyone, anytime. You know,
Do you have right now the fighter from the UFC, either from the welterweight division or middleweight division, that you would like to fight against?
I'm in on Belal. I can't lie. Belal is the number one. I think like if we put skill, that's what I always gonna tell people. If we put skill to skill, like I don't see. Oh, of course. Like don't people listen. I don't see Belal more skill than me. Like skill by skill, I feel my striking game is very tight to him, if not better than his. My wrestling jiu-jitsu are definitely better than his, but he has great cardio. He has very good composure. Bilal knows how to use his cardio as a weapon in the fight, slow you down. Bilal is a great MMA fighter, you know. Maybe not the most skilled fighter, but seeing him as a champion and aiming at him gives me a lot of motivation to keep pursuing the dream, keep pursuing the sport. I feel there's like way more skilled fighters than him that are behind him on the list. Uh, I see Shavkat better than him everywhere. I see Kamaru Usman better than him everywhere. I see Ian Gary better than him everywhere, and I see Gilbert Burns better than him everywhere. But because of his methodical, patient, and the way he uses his cardio on his benefit, makes him the great fighter he is. So I'm looking to fight Belal one day, and gonna be a pleasure. He's a great champ. He's a huge inspiration, and would be amazing to dance with him one time.
And right now, you of course, right now you are a 3-0. And do you think that this is possible for you to fight Contender Series in 2025? Do you think that you can add few more wins and be on the one of the episodes?
So like based on the last Contender Series, like it could be happening right now, but the Contender just started in October. There was like a couple 3-0 guys at the sorry. Uh, there was a couple 3-0 fighters at the last Contender Series. There was a few. There's a 1-4-0, couple 5-1s. Like I think I'm on the right. I'm on the right track. But as I told you, like I'm 25. I'm not super young. I think I'm on the right spot on the line. I think in the timeline, I'm on the right place. But if even if it doesn't happen, uh, as I told you, I'll be knocking the UFC door very soon. Um, Being a great fighter is not what the UFC is looking for. I think that's what people don't understand. Even though like we want to see great fighters, I think this is just a little bit of what the UFC want. There's a lot of great fighters everywhere. There's a lot of great. So I think I'm bringing to the table uh, someone there know how to promote himself. I bring to the table someone there like know how to have a decent conversation like in different languages. So I'm pretty sure that it will happen eventually. Maybe not in the contender, maybe not right now, but slowly but surely we are getting closer to the gate.
You mentioned like promoting yourself, and this is probably like a very big factor right now, because of course like fans love the fighters who can like fight in a exciting style, but in the end of the day, I think that fans also like to go to the IG or the other like social media, see the life of the fighter. So this is probably also really important thing, and fighters shouldn't should think about it too.
Yeah, it's not from my personality to become like a digital influencer or anything like that. But I think I'm very good at like showing my routine and stuff, like in this basic stuff. When I have the mic, I'm always bringing like up the heat after the fights and doing the interviews. I don't like trash talk, even though like MMA is not a martial art. MMA is like entertainment show. I start fighting as a martial artist in jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu, we have a lot of values. So I'm not a huge fan of trash talking. I'm not a huge fan of throwing bad stuff at each other. There's better way to promote yourself, and this is what I'm looking for. I wanna get, get connected to the public. I wanna be able to share my story and to share my personality with people, promoting myself in a good way, and I think this is going to be very good for the promotion one day. Hopefully, I can get a very good paychecks in the UFC.
And of course, you have a lot of like experience overall in combat sports. But right now, when you are preparing to the fight, do you like feel any nerves or stress with the like knowledge that in just let's say few days you will fight against another MMA fighter?
Like if I tell that I don't get nervous, is a lie. Like I think it's more an excitement. Uh, I get nervous. I get nervous for sure, but my main worry is not be able to display what I know. Like or because even though you're very good skill, there's some days that you don't perform good. So that's my only fear. I don't get stressed. The only thing that stresses me out is diet. Like the weight cut, it stresses me a lot. But in terms of like what's gonna happen in the fight, I'm a true believer like that. I go out there, I'm gonna do my best and make God's will happen. Like what God wants it, I want it. And I know there's a only thing that I can guarantee everybody, and if you're listening to this podcast right now, including you, the only thing that I can control is my effort, like the effort that I'm putting. The only thing that I can control is make sure I'm going to make the weight, make sure I'm going to do the best training camp of my life, make sure I'm going to study my opponent, and I'm going to do my strength and conditioning, then I'm going to do my grappling work, my wrestling work, and my striking work. Listen to my coach. There's the only thing that can work. MMA fighter, the fun part is you can get clicked and the fight's over. A small little mistake. So I'm focused more on what I can control. This gives me a little bit more like of enjoyment, like the joy on the process. And my nervous is more like excitement nervous. just about like, oh, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it. Like it could be tomorrow. I'm ready. You know, like you're more like that. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. My wife, she fights MMA amateur, and she gets very nervous. I have a lot of like high level jiu-jitsu fighters that try fighting MMA. They get way more nervous. So it's part of it's part of the game. Different personalities, different perspectives.
And you mentioned before the weight cutting as the part that is not not your favorite one, but what is the best aspect of MMA for you? The one that you enjoy the most?
I think being like I think is a way I express myself, express who I am. You know, I think at the moment there, like lock the cages, I can be who I am. You know, I think be able to show and display a little bit of my personality. I think that's what captivates me even more every time. You know, be able to go out there and overcome your fears, go out there and let your inner self show. You know, like bringing who you are. You know, when you get punched, there's a lot of people they're gonna express like they're gonna shy. You know, I think for me, going out there and overcome those like little small thoughts, man. I got hit super hard. For my last fight, I kicked the guy 2 times in the elbow, and I had like two thoughts. And I remember watching George St. Pierre and the coach. My groin hurts, and his coach say, "Hit him with a groin." You know what I mean? Like, and I remember when I kicked him for the second time, kick his elbow, and then I said, "You know what? I'm gonna fucking kick him 10 times now. I don't care." Boom, like express, like I'm a man. I'm on a mission, and nothing gonna stop me. I think that's the mental side of this. Overcome little things. It's what impresses me the most about MMA career. Of course, there's like a lot of things that being a successful MMA fighter gonna bring to your life. You know, like fame, success, admiration for other people. You know, they're gonna give it gonna give you power, but I think there's just a consequence of doing everything right.
And I think that is great that MMA fighter is like mixed martial artist. So this is part of the art, and
Yeah,
this actually can allow you to like express yourself in the cage.
yeah, exactly, exactly. There's a lot of like great examples of it, you know, and I'm gonna be very happy to be part of like of this UFC UFC like list of guys that went there and then put on show. You know, maybe get some bonuses, some performance of the night, and they're gonna be something that I'm really looking for one day.
Of course, you have this kind of style that you are looking for the finish. But what about your cardio? Because as defense, we can say how good it is, and you are one of the people who knows how you feel in the like second or third round. So if you can tell me, do you think that cardio is like a strong weapon of yours?
I wouldn't say like there's a strong weapon, but I would say there is like no problem. You know, like I'm not the type of guy that gonna. I don't want to just break you physical wise to win a fight, but I won't get tired because I'm pushing the pace. You know, I won't get tired because I'm on the ground. I think I have tools. I have ways to recover during the fight that allow me to be exploding, be like in a I can push the pace. I use this tool here to recover. You know, I push the pace and do something else to recover. You know, use some feints. I control the distance. You know, like actively recovering. I practice that. I practice that a lot. People think because of my finishes, I'm the type of guy that can't last a lot. I'm not worried about again any expectation, or I just care about what me, my wife, and my dog think about me, and my mom, my dad. But the public in general, I don't care what people think in terms of I think he can fight. I think he can't fight. No, man. I don't need to prove that I'm gonna that I can last 3 rounds. I need to just put on a show, you know. I just need to go there and put on a show. My cardio gonna be proven before I go to the UFC. That's not not proved. My cardio gonna be battle tested before I go to the UFC. Not because I want people to know, but because I wanted to feel it. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to do a strategic fight one day before going there. I want to collect as much experience as possible, you know. And my last fight was through the second round. I had the chance of wrestling. I had the chance of throwing hard kicks. I got hit. I took him down the first round with 10 seconds left. I have the opportunity of like taking them down and come back to the corners, come back to the fight, do exactly the same thing. So before I make it to the UFC, people instinctively gonna know, right? Not because I'm trying to prove something, it's just because I want to try it. I want to just check it out, okay? And it will happen. It will happen. That's what I can tell you.
And outside of MMA, because of course you are like BJJ coach, you are a pro fighter, but outside of like world of combat sport, do you have any like additional hobbies or something that you can be focused on when okay, you know?
That's all I do. That's my life. That's I just born. That's who I am. That's who I am. And nothing else. Like that's what I do 24/7. That's training, 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 and that's what I love to do. That's life that I ask God.
So you have this one goal in mind, and then you are like going for it.
Not just a goal, but like that's what I love to do. You know, I love it. Like I watch fights. I study fights. I like watching events. I like to help out people. And I think, as I told you, like fighting is a way of like is an art, a way of express yourself. And I'm very happy to live that. You know, I'm very happy to to help people to express themselves. So fighting, teaching, teaching the jiu-jitsu and fighting, like fighting overall, like not just MMA, fighting overall is what I love to do the most, and it takes all my effort. Oh,
And do you think that teaching, like coaching BJJ, can help you somewhat in like your MMA training?
yeah, for sure, for sure. It's like uh, teaching help, teaching martial arts help a lot because the wisdom. There's a famous quote where there's wisdom is learning not from your mistake, but from others' mistakes, right? Like watching people trying stuff and working or working, studying the game, not just for me, but for them, and bringing knowledge to them more and more, breaking their questions makes me improve way more than if I were just doing that for myself. You know, I have one head, I have one brain. You know, like I'm breaking questions for like we have 300 students here where I teach, and no, I think we're about to get to 400 students because there's two locations. So 400 people asking questions, and those questions are be solved by me. Jiu-jitsu is not like a simple math. There's different ways of resolving the same problem. So being able to break down, of course, there's concepts for everything, but there's always a different way to do it. Like different body types require different postures, require different grips, different approaches. So like bringing them the solutions for their problems definitely helps me a lot.
And the like problem solving skill can help you in different like areas of life. I think
Yes.
that is great because it can help you in like your regular job or like any other aspect. So overall, I think that the BJJ is really like helpful, even if you don't want to be like black belt, but
Yeah,
it
for
can
sure.
help you can help you like improve yourself, let's say.
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu I think everybody should do jiu-jitsu. You know? I think I'm pretty sure. I would not sell a product that I don't believe. You know, I don't want to sell. I wouldn't I would not be able to sleep if I'm selling a product that doesn't work. So if I dedicate my whole life and I will do even more for the jiu-jitsu and for the jiu-jitsu community. There's a reason I'm a true believer that jiu-jitsu is great for anyone, any age, any body type.
Okay, Davi. So many thanks for the time and for conversation. I hope that next year you will win a few more fights and you will be on the like short list to get to the UFC either in the welterweight or middleweight division. I think that with your like quick progress we can see you there quite soon.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity of coming here. There's like always guys doing amazing work, and it's an honor to be talking here with you. I expect to talk with you again in a different position, even higher on the list, and it will happen. I promise that I'm gonna put non-stop work right now. I'm gonna keep in track. I'm gonna keep very grounded, you know, and keep working without hurry. And by 2026, by 2025, December 2025, we're gonna be knocking on that door.